Hi, what's up YouTube? This is Will here, and I'm making this video about the Younger Dryas, which is an awesome and kind of like little talked about aspect of our global climate that really deserves a lot of attention. So, just like summarize why this is important is that the Younger Dryas is basically like another little kind of like cooling event. So about 20,000 years ago, the most recent ice age kind of like winded down. The one that started like 36,000 years ago, where like there was glaciers everywhere. From 36,000 years ago to 20,000 years ago, there's glaciers everywhere. And then about 20,000 years ago, that's when everything started melting and the glaciers were receding from like the really southern extent they had. And then about 12,900 years ago to 11,600 years ago, so there's like another period of 1,000 years, which is like 8,000 years after the Ice Age ended. There's like another Ice Age event happening called the Younger Dryas, where glaciers expand, they go all over the continent of North America, and basically why this happened. And what I'm saying is that like the climate is really not as simple as it looks, because we see that there's like a glacial period, then interglacial period, and this is really important for global warming because people are saying that carbon causes global warming, which it may or may not do, probably does. But I'm just saying that the climate is way more complicated than what looks at first glance. So what this means is that, so why did this like baby little, not the baby ice age, that's something else. That happened in like the Middle Ages of this millennium. But what does this mean? What does this like little thing called the Younger Dryas mean for the climate? And what it means is that like climate is really impacted by comets and also volcanoes, because scientists are saying that, and even some people that aren't scientists are saying that this kind of return to glacial conditions was caused by a comet impact, which means that a comet came from the outside the solar system and hit into the Greenland ice sheet and basically caused a massive evaporation of this entire glacial sheet, bringing water into the atmosphere, into the ocean, and just causing a huge amount of clouds and cooling to happen on the planet, which then caused like this ice age for 1,000 years. And so what I'm saying is that like a lot of people like Bill McKibben, not to pick on him, he's doing great work with 350.org, but this whole climate event is not, climate change is not so doomsday. It's not like end of the world. It's not like we're gonna have 10 feet of sea level rise by next year. It's that it's way more complicated than this, and there's other ways we can look at this. Also, I really support reducing emissions. Just want to throw it out there, and protecting the earth and like switching towards better technology. So I feel like we should really focus on those issues. I mean, the solutions to those issues, and focus less on the science, or like getting all bogged down with like, well, there's going to be like a lot of sea rise and like the methane and the carbon and like all these things, because I feel like a lot of focus in the climate movement is towards that. But we need to like shift that and say like, okay, that is maybe good, and maybe it's good to focus on that, but the science is way more complicated and the earth is way more dynamic than we really know. And we should just focus on good technology and think about things like the Younger Dryas is like, okay, maybe a comet could hit the earth and that could have a way bigger effect on the climate than we really were thinking. So let's protect the earth, let's look at science, and let's kind of reconsider the history of our climate. Thank you.